cauldron of war has appeared the long-awaited solution. At long last, the answer has been found.
It's the mighty Jeep, ready now to keep its rendezvous with the post-war world. And it is indeed a new and mightier Jeep in every way. An epoch-making development based on a new concept of rugged, versatile, mobile power, engineered and built by Willys Overland to serve agriculture and industry all over the world in 1,000 different ways. The war record of its prototype, the military Jeep, is the saga of one of the most spectacular automotive fighting machines ever conceived. That story is known all over the world. The Jeep has played a brilliant part in every campaign, distinguished itself on every fighting front. Its name has found a place in every language. Its amazing wartime achievements are familiar to millions of people. Hundreds of thousands of Jeeps rolled up billions of miles in the toughest testing laboratory of all time. No vehicle ever was subjected to such diverse and violent uses. It's not surprising that the fighting men who drove it, who literally lived with it through months of bitter combat, were the first to realize that the great qualities that enabled the Jeep to do its war job so magnificently could be just as valuable for scores of peacetime occupations.
Who are you writing to now, Joe?
I'm writing a letter to Willys Overland.
Oh.
Who? You heard me, Willys Overland. People that make the Jeep.
What do you expect to do, trade this one in?
Be yourself, wise guy. I'm telling what a swell job it is. You know, Ed, I'm mighty fond of this little buggy, and so are lots of other guys in this man's army. When I get back to the farm, I'm gonna have one of them. I can think of a lot of things this wagon can do around the farm.
Yeah, maybe. I wouldn't know. It's out of my line.
Hey, I'll bet my old man could use one around his mill.
Oh, sure he could. Wherever there's pulling or pushing to do, this is the baby can do it. But on a farm, boy, that's where it'll really fit in.
Letters like Joe's mounted into the thousands. Soldiers from the farm and city alike putting into writing their post-war dreams to own a Jeep and put it to work. They were sure it could do anything. Newspapers, magazines, trade and agricultural publications aroused and stimulated public interest with articles paying high tribute to the military Jeep and speculating on its post-war uses. Here was a mandate to Willys Overland's brilliant engineers, builders of the Jeep, a challenge to harness the power, the ruggedness, and the unfailing dependability of the military Jeep for a broader and greater usefulness in the world of tomorrow. And with typical foresight and caution, they took nothing for granted. Could it do the work of a tractor? Could it serve as a truck, a passenger conveyance, and a mobile power unit? What did it need to meet the demands of industrial and community service? They knew where and how to find the answers, and that was their first step. With the cooperation of the Department of Agriculture, the War Food Administration, and the Army, a number of military Jeeps were allocated for testing. These were sent to leading agricultural colleges in various sections of the country. Practical farmers, expert in solving such problems, would answer the question of what the military Jeep could and could not do for the farmer. Rigorous tests of every description were conducted at Texas A&M, at Mississippi State College, at Rutgers University, at Minnesota University, at University of Maryland, at Washington State College, at Pennsylvania State College, at the University of Arizona. Cooperative farm groups in New York directed independent tests in other parts of the country. In the citrus fruit areas in Florida and California, practical tests brought out the special needs of this industry. Complete, detailed, factual reports from all these sources were studied and analyzed. Willys engineers quickly realized that to improve, modify, and adapt the military Jeep for peacetime occupations involved engineering problems of major importance. Preserving all the great qualities that made the military Jeep a spectacular war weapon, with these as a basis, their objective was to produce an even more versatile Jeep to serve practically and efficiently a multitude of farm and industrial uses. As this development evolved in the minds and on the drafting boards of the engineers and designers, the post-war Jeep began to take form, and it embodied many new features the military Jeep never had, features specifically engineered for peacetime uses. To make the power of the Jeep engine available to farm implements and industrial machinery that must be driven by belt or shaft, a power takeoff mechanism was engineered and built into the Jeep chassis. This equipment enables the Jeep to function as a stationary power plant or to pull a farm implement over its working area and at the same time furnish power to operate that implement.